Now, you may have signed up for an introductory macroeconomics class or an introductory microeconomics class or a combination of the two. Either way, it's useful to understand what different disciplines within economics there are so that you can understand better why you're learning the tools and the theories that we're looking at. First, let's talk about macroeconomics. Macroeconomics is the study of a nation's economy as a whole, the entire economy. It focuses on issues of inflation, unemployment, and economic growth. So macroeconomic questions are ones that look at what's the unemployment rate in the entire U.S. economy, or what's the inflation rate in the Japanese economy. The key is it's a nation's economy as a whole. Macroeconomics explains why economies grow over long periods of time and what leads to the business cycle over shorter periods of time. Right? We look at macroeconomics because we want to understand why economies grow. Over long periods of time, say 20 or 30 years, what makes standards of living rise in some countries and not in others? We also look at it to explain economic fluctuations. Why do we have recessions? Why do expansions last so long in some instances but not in others? And what different policies might we implement to try to lessen the effect of recessions? We also want to use macroeconomics to make informed business decisions. If you are a business manager and you're trying to look at what the interest rate is, or what's going to be the future of your labor costs, what's the future inflation rate, or what's going to be the impact of a given macroeconomic policy on interest rates or inflation, you're going to want to understand how macroeconomics works. The other subdiscipline of economics is called microeconomics. Well, microeconomics is the study of choices made by households, firms, and the government, and how these choices affect specific markets for goods and services. So where macroeconomics looks at the entire economy of a nation, microeconomics looks at one market, say the market for corn, or the market for gasoline, or the market for labor, and how the choices that households, firms, and governments make affect those markets for goods and services. We're going to try to understand microeconomics so that we can understand how markets work and how we can predict the changes in markets due to changes in the government or the firms or how households make choices. We also want to understand microeconomics because we want to help ourselves make personal and managerial decisions. On a personal level, we use economic analysis to decide how to spend our time, what career we want to work in, and how much to spend and how much to save when we earn money. Managers use it to try to figure out how to produce goods and services, how much to produce, and how much to charge for the goods and services that they produce. And finally, we look at microeconomics because we want to evaluate public policies. When we look at how the government interacts with the market economy, we want to be able to determine whether it was a good decision or a good policy that was implemented, and we need to understand microeconomics to be able to do that.